Hello, and thank you for joining us today. We celebrate June for Juneteenth for so many reasons. There's as many reasons to celebrate as there are individuals. But today, I'd like for you to join us in celebrating our ancestors and honoring the work that they have done. The kings and queens of Africa who reigned over empires with knowledge we are still trying to understand today. Then there's the American slave, known mainly for the atrocities they endured. But today, I'd like for you to look at the work of their hands. They are the ones who helped build America into what it is today. Lastly, we look at our civil rights icons and ancestors, those who went before us to fight the good fight of faith for our justice system. All of these are reasons for celebration. All Americans can celebrate America and the contributions of African Americans in making this country what it is today. Today we will hear from three individuals who lived through segregation and Jim Crow laws to tell us about it. They will chronicle briefly their lives so that we can get a good understanding of freedom and what it means today. Thank you. Hello. This is Gail Keys, and I'm with the Arts Alliance, and today we're visiting with Ms. Velma Banks, a social worker. Ms. Banks, can you tell us a little bit about how it was growing up in Marshall?
It is really a privilege to speak about my growing up years in Marshall. Growing up was a very pleasant time because we had family around us. I grew up in a small town, of course we know it's Marshall, Texas, but I grew up in the country, we called it then. It was the rural part of Marshall, 5 miles from the city. And the community was Macedonia, and in that community we had basically what was necessary and what was needed. The housing, the church, the cemetery, and the school. So that was good. Of course we were just surrounded by family and extended family.
So you grew up during segregation and Jim Crow laws, so all your nurturing was with other African Americans and family.
That's true. It was prejudice, segregation during my time in Marshall. So that's why I'm really pleased to talk about what it was like coming through that time period. And that time period, again, we knew where we were stationed. We were in our segment of the town, and we were not privileged to interact beyond our working in the households of the non-African American families, and we had a lot of people there.
So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, the area that I grew up was, again, very comfortable because we had what we needed. We started out with a one-room schoolhouse, and then it expanded, and there was our elementary school that took us to the 8th grade, and we had very fine teachers who was with us, and it was a small school, of course. And then after that, we moved into Marshall for the H.B. Pimpton High School. But again, because we had everything in our small community, our school, our church, and our family, and our farm. So wherever we needed, we got from our farm.
So you lived off the farm?
We lived off the farm.
That's good.
We lived off the farm, and when we needed other items, that's when we would travel into town and shop at Abraham's Grocery. And Abraham Grocery was a family affair, and they were a kind family, and so they just interacted with us as customers of the store.
Hello everyone, this is the Arts Alliance and 40 Music Productions, and today we're interviewing Mr. Percy Hall Jr. Hi, Mr. Hall, Percy.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Thanks for asking. So today we'd like to hear from you about how it was growing up in Marshall.
Well, I was born October 2nd, 1941 to Percy Hall Sr. and Mary Glenn Hall on 401 Middle Street, Marshall, Texas. And I had a lady that came and delivered me. I know what she called her.
A midwife.
A midwife delivered me.
Yes.
And I grew up, went to Park Elementary School for 3 years and went to Dogan Elementary School the rest of my time in school. But in Dogan I got hitched on art and I loved it and I've done it ever since.
Did you have a special teacher that helped you with art?
Yeah, we had Miss Laura Louise Price, who lived on Allen Street, the same street I lived on when I moved to Newtown. And she was instrumental in promoting and creating a situation where I could draw and paint while most of the kids were doing schoolwork.
So she really encouraged you?
Oh, definitely. She was my little.
So you all, at that time, you were segregated from other races?
Segregated. I participated in 1951 in the first Black Little League that we had, and it was down in what we call the Black Park. And my back door was right at the tennis court, so I did a lot of ball playing. But in high school, I played football, basketball, and I played baseball with the old men on Sundays. Mr. Sam Dean had a team, and we'd go to Jefferson, and everybody got the college guys, and so I had a pretty good experience. And I had gotten scholarships to college, but I decided I'd best go to the Army first, and maybe to maintain some self-discipline.
So you knew that was what you needed, self-discipline, and that's why you went, or did your parents?
No. So I felt like I needed some self-discipline and couldn't get it any better place in the Army. I didn't have much, so I wanted to be sharp when I went to college, kind of like I was at high school, because I always worked at shine shoes and worked for George Smith, a black contractor, who had his own business in the 30s. And we had several black contractors around Marshall, like U.S. Boyd. He had a couple of sons that played ball with me, and had one that was an artist, Harry. We had fun in Newtown, but every now and then we'd be harassed by the white boys. When we played Little League and we won the city championship by default because they wouldn't come and play against us. So we ended up in Greenville, Texas, playing some guys that looked like our daddies. and they beat us, so we didn't win this.
So let me ask you, you mentioned you working for a black contractor at the time.
Yeah.
How was it with merchants and stores? Did African Americans chiefly have their own almost everything, barbershop, grocery store?
Yeah, we had several places. We had Buddy Left Hall Barbershop, Shaw Barbershop. Shaw had 2 barbershops, as a matter of fact, and we had a Shine Parlor, and we had a lot of barbecue places. What was it? What's this boy's name? Anyway, Alamo Barbecue down there. Ezel ran that, and his sons went to school with me. We had service stations, and even after I came out of the Army, Mr. Davis had a service station here on campus, right across the street.
Really?
And it didn't last too long, but we had Dairy Queen, where they have a little restaurant over there now.
Mm-hmm.
But there were several places, stores in neighborhoods. Every neighborhood had at least one black merchant with a store.
Wow.
There was several in my community.
And so that made it nice. That made it better.
Well, it made it better, but some of the commodities that you get, you couldn't get them.
It wasn't enough. Yeah.
So everybody had a bill. All the people that worked at the brickyard, they worked alongside white men, Every now and then it would be a scrimmage or a scuffle or something. I think my father hit his foreman in the head with a brick and had to hide out 2 weeks till he could get to Fort Worth where my uncle was.
Wow.
But, they came to our house dressed Ku Klux Klan, white sheets, and my grandfather shot up in the air and told them they did to go, that some of them wanted to die. He wasn't here. But
that was around the 40s, in the 40s.
That was in 47, 48.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I heard this saying once, it's hard to hate up close. So in other words, you working alongside of whites, they had to get to know you a little bit, like you said, if there was any discrepancies or any controversy, they would automatically become, I guess, what's the right word? Adversarial, because you were black and they were white.
Well, the north side was different. We were surrounded by Jews and whites, and it's a community that we lived in that Wiseman and Company built it, and they built about 15, 20 houses just to and put them side by side and across the street. Some of them were separated, but it was about 6 on mine, and I had a cousin, my dad's cousin, first cousin, that was a contractor. He built him a 2-story house on the corner. It's not there anymore. Most of the places that were there built by black men that came out of the army, they got the GI Bill and got housing. And it was not as adequate as the ones they were putting up for the whites, but it was better than they had when they were going to elementary school, because most of the people were poor.
Yeah.
We went downtown when we were kids, and wagons came in there, and
really?
Loaded and unloaded. And they went to the stores on the front street, on the north side of
it's okay.
On the north side of the courthouse.
Okay.
Was nothing but juice stores on the left-hand side going toward Newtown.
Mm-hmm.
And we had Marshall Hotel. We couldn't go there, but my uncle was a maitre d'.
Oh.
And my uncle had one of the first had the first black cab company in Marshall. His name was J.D. Hall. He went off to Dallas to taught school. They even named after he became assistant superintendent and retired, they named a learning center up in Lancaster, Texas. That's where he worked.
Isn't that nice?
But prejudice was funny, because we had to play with the white guys, that were in our neighborhood. And we didn't have to, but we did, and nobody complained about it. We fought and played football, basketball, and baseball, and wrestled, went swimming. And when it was time to go to school, we had to pass by their school and go to ours.
Isn't that something?
And that was, it was devastating, because everybody would tell you, don't you go downtown. They didn't want you downtown because you might get in trouble, even if you didn't do nothing, because some of the white cops weren't so nice, and some of them were just like your brothers and cousins.
So would you say that around that time when they were saying that Emmett Till, the incident had happened with him going downtown and being accused? I forgot.
Soliciting in this white woman.
Yeah.
And she lied about it and told the truth.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but you had some of that, but I worked downtown all the time, so from the time I was in the 7th grade, I had a job downtown, and I knew a lot of people. And I figured out one thing when I was young, the more people you know, the better off you are, if you're gonna do right.
Yes.
But if you have intentions of doing wrong, you don't need for nobody to know
Who you are.
I was
Right.
never in seclusion, and I never met a stranger, whether they be white, black, Hispanic, African, Indian, Asian. And see, we met those people at Wiley. I was a Boy Scout. I reached Life Scout and thought I was too grown because I was 14 to become the last, what's that, Eagle Scout. So I just floated along, and I guess going to the Army probably was the best thing happened to me, because I'd fight at the drop of the hat, and it wasn't racial.
It's just mean. Yeah, man.
Well, that came out of the Army, you know, white boys would pass the house and throw bricks up there at my mother and father on the porch at the end of Sanford. And me and my brother would sit out there for a while, police coming. Nothing they were gonna do. It might have been their brother, might have been it. But as far as being angry with any race of people or having any
Animosity, yeah. It's not, didn't have it.
I grew without that because of my bringing up on the north side. And I wasn't scared of nobody but Dad is, so that made life a lot easier. Because we had bullies on, you know, black bullies. I'd jump on them if they messed with my friends. Man, I wouldn't fight you.
Right.
It was an experience that I wouldn't give up for nothing. After I came out of the Army, I was in the group that integrated the Woolsworth, you know. They had a diner in there, you know, and you could go in there and eat. We sat up there about 2 hours before somebody finally came in and said, serve them. And then about a month later, they were having the sit-ins and prayer downtown around the courthouse, and Daddy told me if I go down there, he'd kick my butt. So I didn't go, but I was on the perimeters when the people put those fire hoses on the wide end Bishop Street.
Really?
Yeah.
Hello, this is Gail Keys, the Executive Director of the Arts Alliance, and I'm here today with Greg McElroy from the Historic Commission in Gregg County and Smith County. Hi, how you doing?
Hello, Gail.
So you grew up in segregation.
Absolutely.
And how would you say your childhood was being around all African Americans, your teacher, your parents, your friends?
Wiley College was a segregated college. Only black people went here. This is where only places that black people could go for higher education was either Wiley or the HBCUs in this area. We were segregation. When I was all through high school, I went to a black school. I was in the band. We would come to Marshall for homecoming. We would march in Wiley's homecoming parade every year when I was a youngster, when I was in high school. Our principal, he went to school here. A lot of the educators graduated from Wiley or Bishop or Texas College or Jarvis or something like that, Prairie View. So segregation was a part of our society. We didn't understand it any other way.
Yeah.
Until it changed, and that just created a whole different understanding.
So now that we know it changed, do you think it should have stayed segregated to an extent?
I look at it like this. Nothing stays the same. We're here because Africans decided that they could make money selling black people to come to America to be slaves. When we came here between slaves, there was nothing we really liked about slavery, and we decided that people would help push the change to end slavery, and it ended. Segregation is basically the same thing. It just ran its time, and then it's over. We're moving on to the next thing, a more inclusive society.
Yes. So tell us how you celebrate Juneteenth, or what you know about Juneteenth.
Well, historically, I grew up in Marshall, Texas, where we celebrated Juneteenth, every Juneteenth. And one of the greatest excitements was having a baseball game. And we would go to the park, every Juneteenth in the evening time when it was cooler. and there was always this baseball team, and the food and the drinks and the lollipops and the pop. So that was my tradition, was going to Juneteenth. And when I discovered in New York, most of my friends knew nothing about Juneteenth. And when I realized that and started to talk about it, I began to find a way to educate them about Juneteenth. And so since I'm a producer of events, I started to find a way to bring people together to educate them about Juneteenth. And so I did that. And starting in 2007, every Juneteenth, there was a major program that had come together in locations, in restaurants, in colleges, in the National Black Theater, and I would invite people to participate in the events. Were very mind-boggling because I had people in performances and educators to come and talk about it. So, and one of the things that was incorporated in that was a fundraising effort on behalf of Wiley College from the New York chapter, New York alumni chapter of Wiley College.
Because you were president, I believe.
I was the president after Lillian. My sister was the first president. Then afterwards, I became the president. So I was the president of the New York Wiley, still am, New York Wiley alumni. So that was an opportunity to educate people about Wiley, recruit for Wiley, and then to raise money on behalf of Wiley during that Juneteenth. It's also a very special day because it's my father's birthday.
Oh boy, isn't that nice? Okay, Mr. Percy.
19th of June.
Yeah, Juneteenth.
Yeah, that was a special day for young black kids, especially after 1951 when they built the Little League Park. Well, we built it. It was a community project. And the building that's down there now, me and the guys that played on my baseball team and the guys that played on other baseball teams got with black contractors, came out every evening after work, and we laid the foundation. Me and Lee Vernon Smith poured the foundation, and it's 6 foot underground.
That's amazing.
And we laid bricks from the ground up to where it is now. And
see, I have a new appreciation for that place.
yeah, the city gave all the cement, you know, and the gravel, and the bricks, you know, and the shingles, and it's a kitchen in there, you know, all the facilities facilitated pretty good considering the time that it was built. But before that, we had no basketball court, we had a tennis court. But right where the basketball court is now, on the 19th of June, well, on the 17th and 18th, they come down there with a backhoe and dig a big old hole. Put some grates over it and coals in it, and they'd light that fire, and they had it just, the grates just below the ground, you know, 6-7 inches, so they could cover them. And they cooked hog and cows and ribs and minks and all that stuff, and all that food was free.
For the neighborhood,
yeah. The public, you know, black public, because we had the Dodgers. They were from Newtown. We had the Indians. They were up on Baptist. up on the hill in Newtown, and we had the Braves. And they were from Sunny South, and we were segregated Little League really. And we had the New York Giants from Gray's Edition, and what else? Braves, Dodgers. That was 14. But we entertained the black folks, and that's when the Marshall black people started to get to know each other.
Oh, really?
And this was before we got in high school, so it gave us a chance to get to know each other. And
come together.
And we found, you find who the best boys were in football, basketball, and baseball before you get to high school. And when we went, because sides of town used to fight. You know, is that prejudice? You know, two blacks fighting blacks.
Yeah.
And it was all right as long as that. You could kill a black man, you going back home.
Home like it was nothing.
But you kill a white man, they might kill you that night.
Yeah.
But I don't see any discrepancies in symbols of war and symbols of anything, but that man we have downtown, that statue, well, when you really think about it, this is a soldier coming home.
Coming home. Yeah, it looked like a kid almost.
It could have been black, it could have been white. It wasn't nothing but a kid, because that's what they took, you know.
Yeah, anybody.
Yeah, so life was, and always has been, you know, if you're willing to work and put things behind you that not going to seem like nothing 10 years from now, if you can learn to do it in this, you won't have to deal with it. But always be true to yourself and live your life according to what God's ordinances are. You know, and just get the book. I got a book. It has everything, marriage, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it has
children, how to raise your children. Yeah. How to spend your money.
Yeah.
How to treat each other.
Everything you need is out there for you. All you got to do is want it bad enough not to let anybody with you, by you, for you, stop you from being who you are. And if you're not who you are, it's no use going through life.
That's right.
You're going to always want to be somebody else. I ain't never wanted to be nobody but Roy Rogers.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
Riding the horse.
Because he was a singing cowboy. I didn't care about nothing that had a head bigger than mine. A horse, cow, donkey, even a dog. But love, you spell it Love, and love God, love yourself, love your neighbor, and love me.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you too. And we are so grateful for this wisdom and time that you're spending with us. And we want to say thank you to you and keep on keeping on. Is there anything else you want to?
I have a whole lot more, but I'm not going to tell you.
No? Okay. You sure?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, my dear. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Okay, continuing on.
Okay, well, you know, the thing about it is that as we develop an inclusive society, we haven't lost our culture, who we are. We're still African Americans. We still have that little bitty touch in our DNA of slavery that we don't talk about it because it was nothing that you really wanted to brag about. So there's very little that we discuss about that, but it didn't mean that it didn't exist. It did exist. So that idea that we celebrate our freedom as in the United States celebrates its freedom on July 4th, these are the things that make us unique. We're all unique human beings, and we might mix together, but we have unique cultures that I think are the things that make the world worth more to live in.
We celebrate June for Juneteenth, and it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. If we don't love America any less.
No less.
But we do love ourselves as well. And so it's a good thing, and it should be.
It's a good thing.
And we invite all cultures to celebrate with us.
Correct. African culture is unique. As unique as Italian culture, as unique as Spanish culture, as unique as European culture. We're just a unique group of people that share that with everybody else.
Exactly.